I'm like superbly happy, immensely happy that, my God, the theatre is open. Can you imagine? This space was locked for 9 months.
We are at Rangashankara, one of the finest theatre spaces in Bengaluru, to meet the one and only Arundhati Nag, recipient of the Sangeet Natak Academy Award, the Padma Shri and the National Film Awards. On this episode, we talk about the comeback of theatre spaces during the pandemic. We go back in time to how this iconic place came to be. We talk about digital theatre shows versus the live audience and how this space is more than just a venue to showcase plays. Be sure to smash that subscribe button and hit the bell icon to watch more awesome sauce videos. Now, enjoy this episode. Namaskara, ma'am. Hegidira, how have you been and how have you been over the last few months?
Not so good, but keeping our spirits high because we are all die-hard optimists. So this is a first for us also. I mean, never in the 45 years of my life in the theatre in India have I experienced or anybody else experienced such a closure, complete closure of the performance arts. So a lot of introspection has gone in, of course, huge financial losses, questioning the very way we perform our art, the very way we practice our arts. So a kind of churning of sorts, and I think this is global. This is really global. Why do we do what we do? Do we really need to continue doing it? What is the purpose of art? What is Ranga Shankara doing? What is its sole purpose in a city like Bangalore? I was given enough time to find answers for them.
Right. We did have to self-reflect. We had all the time in the world to bicker about so many questions, existence to why, the purpose, to redefine objectives overall. And after all of that, here we are, 2021. Congratulations, Ranga Shankara is open again, and yes, we see socially distanced running shows fully sold out. That's amazing, and it must feel good to come back here and sort of start the journey again, Allah.
It's amazing. I mean, yes, I know there are everybody who has come here. I've not yet performed, okay, but I'm watching the excitement in the actors, the people who are performing, the team. I'm watching the trust in the audiences. They are trusting Ranga Shankara in coming over here, albeit with their masks on, and families sit together. But they believe that if Ranga Shankara has the guts to say that we are opening to the public, then they are really sticking their neck out. They are not foolhardy people. So I think it's a great feeling that, yes, after having served the art and the city for so many years, people trust us.
Right. And just to give everyone a perspective about the kind of shows that are lined up, of course, Naseeruddin Shah, Ratna Pathak Shah, they are performing here over the weekend, and people get to enjoy it almost in VIP style. You see these markers on the seats. So socially distanced shows where you get to sit like a king and enjoy the show. That is an experience in itself.
I call it physically distanced, not socially, because this is man being a social creature needs to look at the real thing happening in front of him or her, and the response is live. Only half a house, selling only half a house is economically very, very impractical. So I don't know how theatre groups are going to sustain it. And I don't know how even Ranga Shankara is going to sustain it, because we had come to a very fine balance where the group spent very little money, and even if they had less than half a house, they could at least pay for their transportation and a cup of tea and a bonda for all the artists. I am worried about whether this half house will sustain that, but let's see. Let's see. I think we'll figure it out. We'll probably do 2 shows a day and things like that. I'm like superbly happy, immensely happy that, my God, the theatre is open. Can you imagine? This space was locked for 9 months. Of course, we were cleaning it every 2 days a week. Even in the height of the pandemic, we took permissions from the police, came here, cleaned our theatre, and we were, in a sense, in a state of preparedness that if the government says you can open, we were ready.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure the love for theatre will definitely be appreciated by all the theatre lovers. Adalde, just coming over here, just spending time here at Rangashankara itself is a tradition to many. Going by the cafeteria, having akki roti, just going to the bookstore, spending some time there, just spending some time around Rangashankara gives you a positive vibe. As a South Bangalore boy who has grown up here in Bangalore, I used to come here just to hang out every once in a while. So this is more than just theatre. It has managed to create a very relatable space to a lot of people in South Bangalore. There is a fact that the Prithvi Theatre in Mumbai, Rangashankara has a bit of a resemblance to Prithvi Theatre.
Yeah. It's inspired by Prithvi.
Yes, talk to me about when you were building this humble abode. What was it like? It took many years. I remember reading about it saying in 1994, even though the land was given, however, it took forever to actually get things going to bring up this place called Rangashankara.
Yeah, there wasn't a theatre like this in Karnataka, and when I went to people and said this is what I want to build, they thought I was completely crazy, because here was Bangalore, which was like the capital of movie theatres, and that was the time when movie theatres were being brought down to set up multiplexes. So they couldn't understand. Of course, many people confuse movie theatre and drama theatre. That's how poor our education in the arts is at the education level. We need to bring in more. I would go to these heads of companies and they would wonder, why does this woman want to build a theatre when people are pulling down theatres? So it was a long haul. It was a very long haul trying to convince the powers that be. In fact, I have seen 4 chief ministers trying to get support from the government. So it took very long. I think if somebody else tries to do a theatre like this, it should probably be easier for them now. Mm-hmm. I'm ready to share
all your expertise.
All my expertise.
You have seen it all in making it happen.
So it wasn't an easy task at all. It was a long haul, about 10 years of fundraising. We have raised money in the times when people were giving pink slips to the whole software industry. That was the recession time. I've had people telling me, come after a year, come after 2 years. But people gave. So I don't even, the beauty about the human psyche is that it doesn't remember pain. So that's why we give birth to babies one after the other.
And we move on to enjoy it.
Yeah. So I remember I would like to keep the taste of how people gave as opposed to who said no. I don't even have a memory of who said that they can't give money.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's a very nice attitude to have as well, ma'am. Let's talk about the digital theatre era, or at least that's what we were forced into of late. Lots of digital shows, live shows that had to take the digital stage in comparison to physically holding shows. I know artists were impacted to such a large extent. That magic element of interaction, doing it live in front of a crowd, is always missing. What's it like, according to you, this comparison of digital world versus live theatre shows?
Well, like all others, die-hard theatre people, I said no, and this is only second best, and we don't want to go there. In fact, we have very, very consciously said no to streaming of plays out of Rangashankara at one point of time, or recording them while they are still running. I can understand theatre because it is such a transient art. It makes good sense to record a play very well, and after the play is closed, it's good archival material, it's good historical material. But I think the pandemic made everybody swallow humble pie, yeah? And Rangashankara and all of us at Rangashankara quickly, very, very quickly realized that this is also a matter of survival and a matter of not being foolish, not being an ostrich. You don't kind of hide your head in the sand and say the problem doesn't exist. It was knocking at our door. It had shut our doors. So how do we keep the spirit of our actors alive? Actors suddenly didn't know what to do. So it was the job of an institution to actually, sum up all its courage and think on its feet that yes, I'm not going to be an ostrich. I'm going to take this as a challenge. My job is to keep the spirit of my kabila, my community alive. So what can I do? So we contacted, for World Theatre Day, we recorded solo performances, 5-minute pieces, monologues by a bunch of around 20 actors. Put that up on YouTube. Then we have very beautiful storytelling sessions here at Rangashankara called Little Cloud. So we said that is a program that can be actually translated very quickly into the medium. And so we contacted our actor friends around the country and said, come on guys, tell a story. That was the eureka moment for us when we realized that we cannot be in denial of technology. And technology has to be used. Of course, it cannot replace the live human being, but it is good. It's good to take the story further away.
Right. While people constantly talk about what is going to happen with OTT versus cinema world and whether the clash has already begun, does it make sense for people to go buy a movie ticket to watch a movie? I feel theatre owns its own space. Because it is live interaction. So irrespective of what the platform, OTT or movie halls, the theatre space is unparalleled to any, and it continues
I'll
to be.
ask you, what will happen when we just look a step ahead and go into virtual reality? We are looking at, it has already come, the thought has come, so then it's only a matter of time before people will sell you the view from this seat and then the view from this seat. Yeah?
So in a way we have, I guess that was a trailer for us to get used to just doing things differently.
Yeah. To actually step out of the box, because we are traditional, we are a little archaic. Yes, it is an old art. Yes, it will survive. It has survived through, if the first theatre performer was a Stone Age man talking about the hunt around a fire and describing the hunt of the day, then embellishing it, nothing has changed. We are still telling stories about the hunt. Yeah. So the human element, as long as that is alive, I think theatre has no death.
Arundhati Nag, it's always a pleasure to catch up with you and to talk about theatre, to talk about life, to talk about everything else in between as well. Talk to me about why one should come to the Rangashankara now and experience this magic for real. You have always been sticklers when it comes to running shows on time, making sure that cell phones are kept away when you're experiencing theatre. Now with distancing norms as well, but the show must go on and you guys are keeping it alive.
Yeah, so we have one more special realization that came to us during this pandemic was when a group of Corona warriors came up to me and said, can we can we pack the grains that we are giving to migrant laborers who are leaving town? Can we pack them in Rangashankara's foyer? And boo! It was such a realization for me that here we are crying about our theatre having closed, but our theatre can serve another purpose. And so we have to question ourselves about what is that larger purpose all of us and our spaces can fulfill. There are so many offices. What can, when these offices shut down in the evening, what else can they become? There are theatres like this. Our ground floor was free. So we had the Corona warriors coming here and packing food packets through the pandemic. That's when I realized that yes, theatre is, it's almost like a psychoanalyst. Yeah, it's therapy. It's therapy for people. You come, you watch a play, you see the protagonist going through a certain crisis in life, and you disagree with the way the protagonist deals with the problem. So the psychotherapy has begun, and you find your own answer to your problem, or that suggests an answer to you. And we realize that, my God, yes, what we have been doing for the society has been therapy, and society has been deprived of that. So what we have begun is a program called RS Connect, and we have taken out money from that transaction. Yeah, so at Rangashankara, if you book the theatre, you have to pay us little money to run the place. You charge the audience money for tickets. So there's a conditional relationship. Whereas for RS Connect, you can come any day to Rangashankara, any Friday, Saturday, Sunday for now. Come at 5:30. 5:30 to 6:45, there would be either music happening or dance, the practice of music, the practice of dance, or poetry reading, or something quiet, the process happening in the foyer of Rangashankara. And you can just watch that and go home. You don't have to watch a play. We have a psychiatrist friend, very, very leading psychiatrist, Shekhar Sheshadri, who has been coming every Sunday and talking to the 10 people who come for this program about how they could deal with stress. Everybody has gone through an extremely unnatural level of stress in these 9 months. And when you have not had the therapist of art to help you unwind and de-stress, we had the real one coming, and so it's helped in different ways. So actually this is Rangashankara repurposing itself.
That's beautiful.
For a social purpose.
Fantastic. And it just goes on to show that there are so many ways in which you can get inspired if you come to Rangashankara. There is music, there is therapy, literally, and at the same time there are so many things for you to get motivated from. It's more than just a theatre, and I thank you once again for creating this space for youngsters, for people of all age groups to just come and enjoy life.
Yeah, we do a lot of theatre for children, and now we are going to stick our necks out and see whether parents will bring their children out. We have a play called Circle of Life, which is a puppet play. And if that works, then we know that we can do with physical distancing, taking care of the children. But I feel that children and old people have been the biggest sufferers during this pandemic. And I really want to do something that will help. See, online classes, everything is online. Come on, give these children a little break, because that's a whole generation that is going to be impacted. Yeah. So I'm really hoping that parents will send their children for at least some summer workshops that we will do. I'm hoping that senior citizens, I will be able to do something for them. We can pick them up, drop them back, keep them physically distanced, because we already sanitize the whole auditorium after every show. Yeah. How can we reach out to them? How can we really bring hope in the lives of people who have been locked out?
Absolutely. I think much appreciated and much needed for the time being. Like you said, kids, adults, everyone's taken a bit of a beating when you think about it, and this is so very beautiful thought that can go a long way. I once again thank you. Make sure you look up Rangashankara, find out all the show listings that they put out constantly, and at the same time connect with ma'am. Make sure you look them up on Facebook, on Instagram, and on Twitter as well. Arundhati Nag, always a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Keep coming.